what was the implication there? 50 million? No shot. That's a retarded amount of money. Let me tie it back to this. I feel like people, I don't know why, people really want, MK Ultra would be really interesting over actually. People really want there to be like pedophile rings and like child sex trafficking rings of like politicians and wealthy people and all this shit. Like, people are really bought into this. I don't know if I believe this, and I know that Chappelle kind of popularized it. This idea that like all of this crazy shit happening in Hollywood, I kind of wonder, is it true? Or is it just like diva people? Like, yeah, there is some crazy stuff. Wasn't there like, I think, was Dan Schneider the guy like taking pictures of like little girls like feet or whatever?
Oh yeah, he's sick.
And then there was the, I know there are like managers in the music industry. Do you know who Kesha is?
Mm-hmm, Dr. Luke.
Yeah, and then there was the guy in the Olympic
doctor that was like diddling the girls.
Yeah. I don't know if like, is Hollywood like uniquely a sick and horrible, terrible place, or are there just like kind of weird people everywhere and it's not actually concentrated or focused on one particular thing?
Well, if you like listen to what he talks about, he says it's like Hollywood, like specific.
I don't know. Well, listen.
That is a good cookie.
Office and this fool pull out Big Mama's house too. I almost died. And I gotta read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling you, I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. That's how I got in this position.
I sure hope I have.
He's drinking that cognac like he's sipping tea. I love it. Cognac is the new tea of 2024.
Kevin just shook it off and said that all.
So okay, some people are thinking like the Corey Feldman shit. Okay, I've read. Keep in mind, I very briefly dipped my toes in it anyway, so I don't know that much about any of it. But a lot of people cite the Corey Feldman shit. I've also seen a lot of people say that like Corey Feldman is crazy. Is that true, or was everything he said like credible, or?
Though it never happened to him, he never messed with something that could mess up his whole brand.
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. At the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. Yeah. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times.
But get this, a few years down the line, Kevin popped up in an SNL sketch in a dress, and almost immediately his whole career skyrocketed.
So, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying...
Wait, is this like... What was the implication there? That like Hollywood was holding him back until he agreed to do the dress thing and then they artificially promoted him to the top? Or what is the implication?
That they want to humiliate a black man and they won't let him be successful until he does that, I think is the implication.
Oh boy. Do the Jews get roped into this at some point?
I don't know, but they were digging tunnels.
They were.
Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Okay. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them.
Now, this was a hot topic. I remember like 10, 20 years ago. Like, this was a thing that a lot of comics were talking about. Yeah.
When I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, why all these brothers gotta wear a dress?
Both of us who watched the Jamie Foxx show loved the Jamie Foxx show. That is
Facts. I used to watch that when I was living in Ethiopia. Okay. Love the Jamie Foxx show.
It was
The whole cast was amazing.
It was on reruns.
Yeah, is this QAnon for black people?
Different than the fact that Martin and Jamie are really gonna do Sinead and Wanda as a movie.
Katt Williams was trying to always say, Brandon, don't wear a dress.
You see, because once you do Sinead and Wanda as a movie, and we already have Big Mama's house, and we know Brandon T. Jackson, that nigga showed up with his dress.
Oh, yeah. He was saying in the media, so I thought he was heckling me.
He was ready to be in 1 and 2.
He was really trying to help me at the time. I didn't know that. I was immature. Right. I feel like, dang, why I'm trying to make it.
And start wondering how many niggas really need to wear a dress.
Why you bashing me? And then he was trying to warn me, don't get in the dress.
I'll say this, all the celebrities getting mad at Katt right now. All these guys, all the top people having something to say about him. I think it's crazy that all these people got something to say, but they kept their mouth shut when it was Harvey Weinstein. They kept their mouth shut when it was P. Diddy. Ain't it crazy? You got people actually doing physical harm, pushing themselves on people. None of these motherfuckers have nothing to say, but then when it's Katt, who has no power over them, all of a sudden now they outspoken. That's why I wouldn't take much credence in what most of these goofballs have to say. Because most of these celebrities are just for the cash. They can talk about they for the people, they for the security, they want to protect their own, blah, blah, blah. But y'all let P. Diddy run through a bunch of your homies. And you clapped. And you showed him love. And you linked on his Instagram.
That's a good point.
And okay, all these motherfuckers do. They all know.
That's a good point.
They all know. So don't take none of these people seriously when they got so much to say about Katt. I'm not saying Katt is Jesus. I'm not saying Katt walks on water. Okay? I'm not saying Katt hasn't lied or whatever it is.
Or don't have his fault on whatever.
It doesn't mean that he's not saying the truth right now about a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all these people who have so much to say, I'm like, where were y'all when all this other shit was happening? It's crazy how quiet y'all were because you were protecting your career. But all of a sudden now...
I wasn't paying attention, but I think I'm big true. Wait, what was he just talking about? I hope he was talking about how there were so many widespread like sex cult weird things going on and nobody seemed to have shit to say about that, but everyone was talking about like the Illuminati and the trans agenda. Is that what he was talking about? Because if so, big true. If not, I just made that all up and forget everything. What did P. Diddy do?
He is like an absolute freak. And then, Cassie, his ex?
No.
Well, she's suing him.
Okay, absolute freak. Like did he
like R. Kelly level?
That still didn't help me. Because I was gonna say, is he like getting pissed on? Or is he like young girls?
Like young girls
Okay.
and boys.
Okay.
Allegedly. But he did settle the lawsuit for like...
People are saying he literally did everything bad you could do. P. Diddy is probably gay and forces guys to him. Jesus, power bottom.
They all know, so don't take none of the people who has physical harm, pushing themselves on people. None of these motherfuckers have nothing to say, but then when it's Katt, who has no power over them, all of a sudden now they outspoken. That's why I wouldn't take much credence in what most of these goofballs have to say.
Yeah.
Because most of these celebrities are just for the cash. They can talk about they for the people, they for the security, they want to protect their own, blah, blah, blah. But y'all let P. Diddy run through a bunch of your homies. And you clapped. And you showed him love. And you linked on his Instagram.
That's a good point.
And okay, all these motherfuckers, they all know.
That's a good point.
They all know. So don't take none of these people seriously when they got so much to say about Katt. I'm not saying Katt is Jesus. I'm not saying Katt walks on water. Okay? I'm not saying Katt hasn't lied or whatever it is.
Or don't have his fault on whatever.
It doesn't mean that he's not saying the truth right now about a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all these people who have so much to say, I'm like, where were y'all when all this other shit was happening? It's crazy how quiet y'all were because you were protecting your career. But all of a sudden now you might have the integrity to come out and speak about things when it's
Katt don't have power over you, so you say shit.
Listen, a person's character is tested when they have something to lose. And y'all notice when they got...
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Is he saying that... Hold on. I'm sorry. I think I was just reading this whole statement incorrectly. Is he saying that Katt doesn't... His statements don't matter now because Katt has nothing to lose because he's out of the industry? Or is he saying that people criticizing Katt have nothing to lose because Katt's out of the industry? Who is he being critical of? Is he being critical of Katt or the people criticizing Katt Williams? I need to not half listen to this. Katt has nothing to this. Wait. Fuck me. Okay, never mind. I have to listen to this. Now I'm too roped in.
This stuff. Mm-hmm. So all these people who have so much to say, I'm like, where were y'all when all this other shit was happening? It's crazy how quiet y'all were because you were protecting your career. But all of a sudden now you might have the integrity to come out and speak about things when it's...
Katt don't have power over you, so you say shit.
Listen, a person's character is tested when they have something to lose. And y'all notice when they got something to lose, when it came to P. Diddy, all these rappers who all about the street life and all this other shit, they keep their shut. But now that it's Katt, they want to say something. Listen.
And why is it so important?
Oh. But like, Couldn't you levy that same criticism at Katt? Why wasn't he saying anything when he was part of the industry? Because it seems like he got his and left too.
No, because he's saying that he never let anyone like do things to him.
Yeah,
and that's why he can speak out. I think his exact quote was like, "I kept my virgin whole," or something.
he always said it. He was Destiny. Wait, how often? Or like for real? Or just like the little random like I'm not gonna wear a dress things?
No, like he was saying that like he's had to turn $50 million from P. Diddy down like 4 times because P. Diddy wanted to like pop his butt cherry.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe he said it, or you don't believe it happened?
I don't believe anybody offered him $50 million to
4
fuck his
times?
asshole, and I don't believe he would turn it down. I don't believe that. No shot.
I'll find the clip.
$50 million? 50,000 I could buy. If that guy's worth over, how much is Diddy worth?
Like billions.
My God. Okay, almost $1 billion. $1 million, I could see him offering it. $50 million to ass? 50 million? No shot. That's a retarded amount of money. $1 million is the upper limit that I would believe on that.
Look.
No shot.
$50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you.
Hold on. Wait. Where is P. Diddy now?
In hiding, because he settled his lawsuit with Cassie for like a retarded amount of money. That's like, okay, like obviously you did it because you wouldn't pay her this much if you hadn't done it.
How much would you pay to f these ass? I don't even do girls. Why the f I pay to f guy's ass? Getting that boy pussy. Jesus.
Bussy.
Yeah, true. Okay, but hold on. 50 million to f in the ass, no. But because hold on. I want to believe. I'm going to believe in a conspiracy,
Let me
okay?
send you the clip.
Let's make it work, okay? It wouldn't be 50 million to f him in the ass. It would be 50 million to f him in the ass and to know that he f***ed him in the ass, and maybe to have a video of him f***ing him in the ass. And now, if he's got relationships with other execs or talent managers, now he can like say, hey, I need you to go and do this movie, this show, this special, and you got to do it because you know I've got video of me f***ing in the ass. That's the thing. Also, does anybody know the girl that wrote a book called Scammed?
And it is crazy. Hey, listen, editor, put in the pictures. It is insane how many guys during that era put on a dress. Now, I'm not a conspiracy brain person. I don't even think it's a conspiracy like that. People might, that's not. I just think Hollywood's lazy. The same way they won't put out stop putting out nerd superhero movies because they make money. They just put in dresses because they thought that's how black guys were always going to be successful. They always typecasted black people and minorities in general. Asians were always relegated to this. Latinos were gang members and gangbangers pretty much every time. And then black people were often put in dresses, and it changed over time. But I just think that was the mindset back then. And this is sound weird. I'm not against cross-dressing. I actually think, like, especially in the world of theater and stuff like that, it has its place. Okay, but when it's compelled, so you can fit some kind of stereotype. When it's like a typecasting thing, I'm against all typecasting. Okay, I'm against all typecasting.
Is this racist to suggest that ABBA might have low? No, I'm just kidding. Do you think that part of it might play into the fact that, like, I say historically, but like as rap has exploded and then you've got like black character archetypes that exist on TV and movies and everything, isn't the idea behind like a black guy going in a dress, isn't it quote unquote funny because black is usually seen as like hyper masculine and kind of like homophobic, so it's like them in a dress is like even more funny? Isn't that kind of the point? Isn't that why it's funny? It's kind of like in porn, like why the BBC and the bull being a black guy and all of that is always like so important, and it's like such a mindfucker. Like I don't think I could date a white girl that got fucked by a black dick. Like all those things come from the idea of like the black hyper masculine barbarian or whatever. So putting that person as a dress is like the contrast is what makes it funny, I guess.
Can I tell you something? I know this. Wait. Yeah,
That's a really, it was a really serious follow-up question to this. But go ahead, yeah.
I know this girl whose ex-boyfriend, he got like beat up by a bunch of like he started like beef with the black guys at his school, and then he got like beat up by them at McDonald's. Well, they got in a fight, but like they beat his ass because he was like a scrawny white guy and he like deserved it. He was being evil. But then after that, he got like this weird obsession with like BBC porn.
After the guy got beat up?
Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think happened, like, psychologically? I'm talking, like, obsession. Like, could
I
only
understand.
get off to that?
How deep do I want to go on this? Have you ever heard of something called a just so story?
No.
Okay. A just so story is when you take a collection of facts and you find a way to weave them together, but you don't actually know 100%. So let's say I walk into a room, I see a person on the couch, they're laying, there's a pool of blood coming out of their head, and there's like a firearm like laying next to them. I would say, I came in the room, he killed himself. He must have shot himself. Mm-hmm. It's a just so story. I'm taking some facts and I'm saying, just so, like, this is happening because I can tell.
So it could be a coincidence?
Could be. One of the things that's difficult about human psychology, I think, is that sometimes we want to explain things by pointing to a particular event or something, but we can get lost in the sauce and we can start making explanations for things that aren't actually real.
But it was over like a girl who was Latina, and then one of the guys like stole her, which I don't even think is like a thing. She just like left them for him.
No, I'm saying I understand
like
all of these
BBC like cooks.
Yes,
stuff.
I understand. The fact pattern can be literally whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that like there are so many other things going on in a person's life that what I would look for stuff like this is my very boring answers. What I look for is that like, is there any type of like large like data or like studies that support this idea that like a traumatic event can create a fetish or whatever? Because otherwise, let's say that there's like 1,000 white guys.
Well, some people get like CNC kinks after getting assaulted.
I don't know how true that is. Like, maybe they do, but also, for instance, a lot of women have consent, non-consent kinks, right? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of women just do. So like, maybe it's the case that a woman, so this is what I'm talking about. Let's say, I'm making numbers up, but let's say 40% of women have like rape kinks, right? Yeah, it's probably low. It's probably like 70% of women, right? Okay. Yeah, because women are crazy, okay? All right, let's say 40% of women have rape kinks, okay? But let's say that of those 40%, let's say that only like 50% of them really know, because the other 50% don't even know to explore that, because they're like, that's like, right? Let's say somebody ends up getting sexually assaulted, and it's a horrible event, obviously, and all of that, but, you know, once they processed it, or maybe even without processing it, they look back on it, and some part about it turns them on, and it's unhealthy, obviously, because that event was actually rape, and that's not good, and like, well, this turned me on. Maybe when they,
or maybe it just like warps their view of sex, and
possibly,
like,
but I'm saying like, maybe I'm just saying at this particular thing, maybe they come away from that experience and like I think I got a rape kink from my actual sexual assault.
I don't think,
maybe that could be the case, but maybe they had it before and they just didn't even realize it.
No, I think it might be they're like trying to like cope with their trauma, and then
these are just those stories, maybe.
Yeah.
But does that happen with any other trauma? Like, is that normal? Like, let's say for instance you have, because one, we would imagine, what would we imagine the evolutionary response would be? We would imagine the evolutionary response to a traumatic event is probably to escape the trauma. That's the whole point, right? Like if obviously I'm not hitting you enough. You should be cowering when I do that, right? Okay. You need to be abused more, okay? But like if you're used to getting hit a lot in a bad way, right? And somebody like raise their hand towards you, you might like flinch a little bit, right? Because that's what you would expect a trauma response to be like, oh, like you don't want to get hit again. The idea that some people have these opposite trauma responses where they go in hard, like, oh no, I just want to go do it over and over again. This is like, I would imagine this would be like the worst type of response, right? So I wonder, are they actually like going back into it because their trauma made them like it, or is there a lot more complicated of a mechanism going on there? You know?
I don't think their trauma made them like it. I don't know.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. It could be true. I'm just saying sometimes I get scared jumping to conclusions on things sometimes. You know? Yeah.
Okay, continue your emails.
It could also be that I've met people who have like adverse sexual events, and then because of that, in general, they kind of spiral a little bit. That like maybe you get raped, or maybe you have like a bad sexual assault encounter or whatever, and then it kind of to your head, and then you kind of like you start spiraling because you've got a whole bunch of like personal like self up shit right now, and then as a result of the spiraling, you start engaging in increasingly just self-destructive behavior, more drugs, more alcohol, more reckless around guys, and then the situation kind of repeats itself. And somebody might look at that and go like, oh look, they got raped once, and now they want to get raped over and over again. It's like, not really. This first event set off like a self-destructive spiral, and it ended up leading to this, but it's not like they went from here to like, oh, I want to get over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe there's a more direct line. I'm just saying, like, it's hard to, like, I think it's really hard to draw direct lines sometimes. It's very difficult, I think. But you know. Okay, ready?
And also, I also come from a culture where men wear what people call dresses, okay? We have these long robes. You would qualify as a dress if a woman wear it. Men wear it. But that's different. It's cultural. It's not compelled. It is something that we all do, and they're not made to be worn as if it was a traditional woman's dress. All right? Hold on. I should have it in here somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
Why does he... Oh, this is true. How does he know so much about cross-dressing?
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you call it in Ethiopia.
All right, just so you can see, it goes all the way down. Incredibly comfortable. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Wearing one of these is my favorite.
Oh, never mind. This wasn't cross-dressing. I need to stop paying attention. I'm sorry. I'm doing these. Forget I just said anything, okay? In regards to comparing it to a non-sexual assault experience, this could actually be played out by someone engaging in self-protective measures, i.e. going to the shooting range and buying protective guns, testing waters by going to places similar to where the situation occurred, and egging on a fight, taking fighting lessons, etc. Yeah, I mean, there are some self-protective things you can do, but self-protective is the opposite of throwing yourself back into it over and over again. At Destiny, aren't fetishes often linked to shame in childhood or adolescence? My understanding is, I believe that was the Freudian explanation, that in the oral or in the anal, it's like stage 2 or 3 of like one of the stages of the psychosexual development. If you are chastised, or if you get in trouble, or if you're ashamed or embarrassed about something, that from there you can develop a sexual fetish from, you know, whatever your eyes gaze at, or some dumb shit like that. I don't think there's any evidence linking that to being the case, though. I don't think that's just like a theory I think that Freud has, but I don't think that any of that came out to being real or not. Like I don't think there's any data on that.
Thing, especially when it's hot, you don't wear no underwear, you feel the wind on your balls, shit feels amazing. Pause. But I do it out of my own wants, okay? I would feel incredibly uncomfortable if they, pulled up one of them fucking Forever 21 skirts or whatever these women be wearing, okay, and said, yo, you need that there's not a chance in hell I would ever do that. Wow, it's weird seeing Jamie Foxx in a dress.
No, it was back then in living color.
Yeah.
It was. I remember that clearly.
Yeah, I'll say this. I know exactly how this dress thing happens. Okay, this is what happens. You're with your...
Hold on, I'm going to guess what he's going to say. This is how I would guess it would happen. You're with your agent. There's not any like attractive scripts floating around. He's like, listen, some shit just came by. It's a little weird, but like if you do this dress shit or whatever, the movie's going to be popping. It's an easy gig. You make a lot of money doing it. It's kind of goofy, yeah, but like it'll be funny. Like fucking, why not? It's an easy job, easy payday for both of us. Like, why not? That'd be my guess for how these happen. But who knows? Let's see what he says.
Agent, you're in a meeting, and then some producer comes out of nowhere. It's like, listen, guys, I have an idea. Stay with me. What if we put you in a dress with lots of makeup on, looking very feminine with your broad shoulders, and make you do a dance?
Yeah, basically. Okay, sure, yeah.
And then you're like, nah, like, come on, I think it'd be really good. It's gonna be a hit. You didn't see when Martin did it? And they'll start selling you on this shit. And then the meeting will end, and you have some reservations. You have some issues. Then your agent starts nudging you because they want to make their commission. Like, yo, come on, this is your big break. Don't you want to make it in Hollywood? Huh? Don't you want to make it on the big screen? There's other movies lined up. Do you know who that guy is and who he's connected to? If you reject him, you're going to cost the studio so much money, and you're going to pass on the chance, and someone else is going to take your shot.
That's whenever you have a sleazy fucking agent.
My agent's sleazy.
My agent is my homie. My manager is my best friend, and shit like that. It's a weird thing that I didn't want to be part of. Happen, because you have to understand one thing is that we do this, you do thing, and it's one thing, but you have to understand that I have a whole ass career here where we at right now. Okay, so I got movie gigs and stuff, I got TV gigs and I got commercial gigs and stuff like that, and shady shit has happened in the past, and stuff that I don't want to be part of has happened proposition of that. And the minute I say no, it's a no. I've never been put in a position, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it from other people. I'm like, no. Yeah. Being pushed on, what you're talking about is very real. I'm very, very grateful and very lucky to have the people that I have around me. But what you're saying is exactly how it works.
But I also wasn't saying that like everyone that gets assaulted gets like a CNC kink. But I think that like it's like a way to kind of like reclaim.
No, I don't believe
trauma.
that. I don't believe that.
But like I've talked to people who like have experienced that, and like
I wouldn't believe I'm saying. I just don't believe it. A way to reclaim it is to like here's the thing.
So it's like something like really, really terrible happens to you, and it like fucks up your brain. So then like in your mind you're like, okay, like if I'm the one, like if I'm like reversing the roles and I'm putting myself in control, so I'm like allowing it to happen, then that just kind of like makes up for it in their mind.
I don't buy it. Mm-hmm. It's possible, but I don't buy it. Maybe though.
I don't know.
Talk to you like that. And sometimes if they know your agent is going to back you up all the time, like my agent and my manager back me up, they're going to not want to speak to your agent. they're gonna want to speak to you directly. They're gonna bypass her agent, right? And sorry about that, no pun intended, go by the back door. Yeah. That's what they're gonna try to do, and that's 100% true.
So the writer comes in. I think he's a writer. He's like, Dave, listen, you got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And you put this dress.
Isn't that literally what I described?
Yeah.
Yo, these producers are the corniest motherfuckers you've ever seen. I don't even know how they have jobs, bro. Talentless hacks. And they come at you like it's a good idea. And you as a talent are sitting there like, nigga, are you high? Yo, what the f did you smoke? That's what you think. You're not gonna say because you don't want to lose a job. But anyway, hey, are you high? When you find a
I think that fuck. I don't want to dive too much. Actually, why am I saying that? I can't dive into it. I don't want to say I lost a lot of respect for Dave Chappelle. I really started to wonder a lot about Dave Chappelle when he gave his whole, it was a, I don't know if it was as a part of a stand-up routine, but it was a thing he was talking about in front of an audience a few years ago about how horrible Hollywood tries to fuck you with contracts. I think it might have had to do with the negotiation of his Netflix deal. And when I was listening to him talk about that, I was like, this sounds like standard contract negotiation. Nothing about this sounds fucked or weird. Like nothing about this sounds out of the ordinary or like horrible. But I think that, was it the Chappelle Show on Max? I thought it was in regards to, or maybe Netflix came in and saved him at the end or something. It was about hip hop record deals. Maybe, but he related it to, I thought he related it to his Netflix stuff. But something that happens, was he trying to present it as weird? Yeah, everybody does this. Not Tfue. Who was the guy in Phase that kind of f***ed them when he left? Anybody know who I'm talking about? Banks? No, it was the guy that got like the huge contract and then wanted to, or he got a kind of a bad contract. And was it Tfue? It might have been Tfue. Let me explain like a phenomenon for writing contracts real quick that people have a really hard time understanding, and it's very frustrating. And when you explain it, people just call you a bootlicker. But this is something that happens when you're writing contracts, okay? Let's say that I've got 10 talent that come to me, and they want to be signed under my org. Now, all of these talent, okay? All of these talent, we'll say, have 10% potential to become worth, okay? They've got 10%, hold on, let me write this here. They've got 10% potential to become worth $1 million, all right? No, fuck it. Well, let's gas this up. We'll say $10 million, okay? Okay. In their present state, though, they're all worth maybe, we'll put 90% for the rest, I guess, right? We'll say in the present state, though, these guys are only worth, for advertising and shit, we'll say like $1,000, okay? When I'm looking at each of these talent, okay? When I'm looking, also these numbers are, maybe I should skew these more to make it more, no, it's fine. You can. When I look at all these talent that are coming to me, these guys, they need money to play games. They don't have like time to go full time. You know, they need computers on the ship, okay? When I look at these guys, I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out like what talent has potential. I'm trying to figure out how to value my talent. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at each of these guys, okay? And they have a 10% chance to be worth $10 million to me. 90% chance that they're just gonna be worth $1,000, right? What I'm about to do is incredibly crude. If anybody well actuallys me on any of the math here, I am permabanning, okay? A really crude way of calculating the value of each of these, assuming that I know both these figures are accurate, is I would say each one of these talent are worth to me 10% of 10 million plus 90% of 1,000, okay? So the expected value is the term we're using here. The expected value of each of these individual talents is gonna be $1 million, $1,900,000, okay? That's what the expected value of each of the talent are to me, okay? Because I know I got a 10% chance of one of these guys popping off. So when I go to these guys and I go to write my deals, okay? Now, this is the value that they bring me. That's just gonna be the gross value, not the net. So I've also got like all my expenses, I've got my employees, I've got all this shit, right? When I go to write contracts for each of these guys, I'm probably going to write them contracts for for, let's say that I got to cover all my expenses. Let's say that I've got to, I want to make some money, obviously. Maybe I'll write each of these guys a contract for $400,000. Okay. This is my cost. Okay. I'm spending $400,000 to sign each of these guys. Now, all of this process happens here behind the scenes. None of you see any of this. Okay. Here's the only thing that you see. And this is what's frustrating about these types of deals and how they go public. The only thing that you see is one of these guys ends up blowing up and going big. Tfue was the one for FaZe. And then when he blows up and goes big, he's looking at his 400K like, what the f? I'm bringing you guys in 10 million in receipts. $10 million gross. How the f is my contract for 400K? Are you serious? So this guy in the Tfue example goes public and he's like, by the way, I'm getting shafted. Okay, I'm actually getting. I made these guys this much money last year, and my contract, by the way, is for 400K. Everybody looks at the company, they go, wow, greedy fucks. You're writing abusive, horrible contracts, you're fucking over your talent, blah, blah, blah. Ignoring the fact that the initial risk on this guy was a gamble. They didn't know he was going to be worth that much, number one. And number two, you also have to subsidize all the people that aren't worth that much, because these guys aren't all going to be worth that much, right? One through 9 here, right? And chances are when talent blows up like this, you're probably going to write these contracts a bit lower so that when it does blow up, you can renegotiate this guy's contract, because obviously you don't want to f them over, because in the real world, you don't actually want to f talent over your good talent, because they're going to leave and then make a big public stink about it. But yeah. This is a frustrating reality, and I felt like Dave Chappelle, it sounded like he was describing this exact thing where he was this guy, and he's like, oh, I can't believe I was getting f***ed, or I can't believe some people in record labels get f***ed. No offense, most people that go to record labels and shit, they don't make anything. They're I don't want to say losers, that's mean, but like they just, the investments don't return anything, right? There's no ROI. Yeah. Also, by the way, the same schema here can also be applied to pharmaceuticals. That's why pharmaceuticals are so f***ing expensive, because it takes about $1 billion to get a drug over the phase 3 trial finish line. And you've got to pay for every single failed drug. And when one does make it, you want to make a little bit of money off it because you wasted money on all this shit. I shouldn't say waste money. That's mean because we're talking about human capital talent. But yeah. Yeah, but shouldn't these contracts have clauses if the talent skyrockets to 10 million that their fees increase with the success? Usually, yeah, you'll start writing that. But keep in mind, in order for the company to work, they have to be able to gamble on all this talent. If you write in too many stipulations, like every dollar that you earn us, we're going to pay you. If you start writing crazy stipulations like that, well, these guys, you're not signing these guys. Why the fuck would you take a risk on somebody? You're only going to sign like the talent that's already made it. I want somebody with a 95% chance of making me money. I'm not wasting my time on these no names. Why the fuck would I do that? If they don't make any money for me, I'm fucked, right? And I don't get to make any money on my big talent now because now now I've got to pay him out every single dollar that I earn on his name, you know? So, yeah. This is the Chappelle bit. The first one is him giving context. Sure, okay. Real quick, we'll watch some of this.
2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I call Lauren Michaels and I tell him, okay, I'll do it. I'll do Saturday Night Live on election night. And the day I made that phone call, the day I committed to it, it gets announced that Netflix is streaming Chappelle's show. Not just Netflix, HBO Max is streaming it too. I'll tell you another story about HBO. No, hear me out. Did you know, before Chappelle's show was at Comedy Central, I pitched that show to HBO. I told them what I wanted to do. Now, these are executives. All they have to do is say, yeah, we'll take it, or no, thank you, we won't. But they...
Okay, hold on real quick. Okay, I know that we all grow up and we learn things and, you know, it's part of the grow up process, okay? A lot of people make this criticism to Chappelle. Okay, I hate the new brand of comedy where there isn't comedy. It's just some obscure story, okay? All comedians do this. This is not just Chappelle, okay? Everybody, Richard Pryor told stories of him fucking going to Africa, okay? George Carlin told stories when he was on stage. Like, everybody, when they're a comedian, and especially when they get big enough, they start to tell stories. People do that. That's part of comedy. That's what happens. The reason why we like comedians is often it's because they take things that we like and things that are relatable, and then they make them funny, right? Part of the relatability of a comedian and them telling us truths or revealing truths about ourselves through, that's probably where Sneeko got his truth through funny bullshit from, is because he liked stand-up comedians, right? People, this is like super standard, okay? The idea that like Chappelle has turned into some weird storyteller, but that's, comedians do this. They get high off their own shit, okay? They do. But to be fair, I mean, like, if you make a whole audience laugh that loud, you know, of course you're gonna think you're a god.
They didn't say either of those things. They went too far. They said literally, what do we need you for? That's what they told me. As they kicked me out of the office. What do we need you for? And here we are, all these years later, and they're streaming the very show that I was pitching to them. So I'm asking them, what do you need me for? People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right?
Sorry, yeah.
They didn't have to pay a lot of money for Chappelle's show. People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work, and they never had to ask me, or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract. But is that right?
And so, I hate to be mean, but like, here's the thing, okay? I'm trying to think. Before the Chappelle show, Chappelle was pretty popular, but the Chappelle show, I'm pretty sure, is what made him explode into popularity. The Chappelle show is the thing that like put him from like, that's a pretty popular comedian to like, whoa, I'm Rick James, bitch. Like these skits or whatever, these were the things that like blew his shit up. The idea that he tries to put this as though like he got fucked because he signed a deal early on that wasn't, what was he looking for? Like royalties over a flat fee or, yeah. Nobody knew who Chappelle, I'm trying to think of, did Chappelle have, hold on. Specials. Hold on, also I want to say one more thing. I want to get into all the business shit. Destiny, for Devil's Advocate, is this not pay you in exposure? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to reiterate this a million times, okay? Because it's true. There is nothing wrong with being paid in exposure. Paid in exposure is sometimes the best way to get paid. In fact, if you're growing or you're famous, you always want to be paid in exposure, okay? That's the best way to get paid. The reason why paid in exposure is a joke is because when people offer to pay you in exposure, it's usually some loser that has no exposure to pay you, okay? If Rogan said, listen, you can come on my show, but you gotta pay me $1,000, I'd already signed the check before you even finish the sentence. I'll pay, of course, Rogan, I'll pay to be on your show, because the exposure would be insane. Obviously, I will pay to be on your show. Yeah, I'll fly you out there, mother. Damn, I don't care. Yeah, of course I would pay to be on the show. The exposure would be worth it. The issue is that when people say, I'll pay you in exposure, it's usually some guy with like 400 followers on Twitter who's like, once we're big, you know, you'll get the exposure be so good for you or some bullshit like that, right? Like that's the reason why paid in exposure is bullshit.
Someone in Kick Chat said, why don't you pay Torontos in exposure?
Because I'm a more ethical and moral person than other people would be, okay?
Oh,
you should
so
also,
humble.
you should pay people because that's the right thing to do. In my opinion, if you're making a lot of money, you should pay people because it's the right thing to do, okay? But the reality is, okay, if I wanted to be an ice cold businessman, I don't need to pay anybody for kick or keep. First of all, I don't even need to pay Carantos. I could have told Carantos, listen, I'm not paying you shit, I'll host you. He probably still would have done it, is my guess, because it's a good opportunity for him. Or if Carantos didn't, I could literally find a billion other people like, yes, I would gladly host a show on your stream so I can be in front of 10,000 viewers every night. 100%. Absolutely, you could. And I don't want to make arguments for unethical employment, but people sometimes that are willing and hungry to work for exposure, oftentimes these people do the best work because they're hungry for it. They're going to do their best fucking effort because they know the only shit that they're getting from the work that they do is going to be people that like them afterwards from it, right? Sometimes your best employees is when you do the paid exposure. When you start offering...
So if you were paying him an exposure, like it would still be ethical and you would still like feel good about it, but you're just doing it out of the kindness of your heart?
I don't know if it would be... I'm not trying to make argument.
But you just said it would be ethical.
I think that if everybody's getting paid somewhere and they bring in other workers, those people should be part of the success. Do you know anything about like the I was going to say the NAACP. That's not what I'm thinking of. The NCAA. Do you know like college football?
No.
Oh, okay. Like for a long time, people would make the argument that college football players can play college football, but they shouldn't get paid because they get like free schooling and they can go to the NFL afterwards if they're really good, right? In my opinion, that argument could work, but it doesn't work when college coaches are the highest paid public employees in like 40 states. Do you know, I'm from Nebraska, Omaha, right? In Lincoln, our coaches were signed for like anywhere from $1 to $5 million, I think, a year.
Wow.
5 million per year.
Would you rather pay all of your
Fraud.
employees?
Did this guy win more than 3 games in any season? I still can't believe they dumped Callahan for this. No offense, but oh my God. In 2017, does anybody know? Where are my Nebraska boys at? Unbelievable, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm just saying that when the coaches and everybody else around this area is like making so much money, it's weird that the players who are out there risking their bodies don't make any money, you know?
Would you rather pay all your employees in exposure or equally distribute your wealth between all your employees?
I mean, I like to pay them because I make a lot of money and it feels good. Like I want people
No,
to
like if you had to choose, like you're all making the same or you're only paying them in exposure.
If we all made the same,
Like equally distribute.
like me too,
Yeah.
they're getting exposure. That's wild. Okay, damn. He had a great recruiting school at UCF and couldn't do the same in Nebraska because he doesn't know the area / boosters and no one wants to move there. It doesn't matter. He had no chops for being a college football coach. And Callahan was always like 1 or 2 games off of, he was always like 1 or 2 games off of fucking playoffs, postseason games? I don't know what the fuck you would even call them. The bowl games? I don't remember, bro. It's been a long time for college football. He was 12-0 at UCF. What conference are they a part of, though? Florida? I feel like I've never heard of them in a fucking football game in my life. I don't know shit about other conferences. What was UCF in? Was that a Big 10 or Big 12 school, or? Because it was not one of those 2 conferences. Why the fuck would I give a fuck? Why would you tell me? That's like saying you won Little League football games, okay? American League? American League? I don't know what the fuck that means. What, are they playing football against the Cubans that are swimming here from fucking Castro land? Like, what? I don't, yeah. Okay. Why would you bring that guy on for a Big 10 school after Callahan?
Do you follow college football?
No, I don't.
Do you follow NFL football?
No, I don't follow any sports because fuck sports. I'm from Omaha and the only thing we had there was college football. So I grew up, there was a man, the myth, the legend.
Tell me about it.
Tom Osborne.
Never heard of him.
He's a great football coach.
Yeah.
Back in the days of Tommy Frazier,
Who's Tommy Frazier?
A great American football player.
Yeah.
We just had a really good college football team. But then it never came back basically. So. Yeah. But anyways, nobody cares. Go to, who are the best ones now? Like it's like Alabama or fucking I don't know, one of those fucking losers. No one cares. Okay, sorry, I don't know where we went to. We got way off. Okay, Chappelle Show, sketch comedy, 2003. When was his first did he even have a stand-up special before the Chappelle Show? No way, was it that extreme, right? Chappelle specials, Wikipedia. No, Chappelle Wikipedia. Oh, Michigan is good as well. Yeah. Destiny probably doesn't even know how 2 points is scored in football. Do you know how 2 points is scored in football?
Is it a touchdown?
No. 2 points is technically scored whenever you like run the conversion, but I don't think anybody actually does that. Isn't that just some shit you do in video games? Actually,
Is it the kick?
Wait, somebody said a safety? Is safety 3 points? I don't know what a fucking safety is. Is a safety 2 points? You can run a conversion. I don't know about fucking safety. Damn. Who's getting tackled on their own fucking? That sounds like some Tabor snap. I'm just kidding.
I know the basketball.
Yeah. This is a somebody donated $25 ago and said this is a 5-year real-world police interrogation video of a man who shot up the Trump Doral. He claimed he was a sex slave for Diddy. The video corroborates Cassie's claims against Diddy in a $30 million lawsuit. I believe you. Okay.
He's sick. Sick in the head.
P. Diddy or the guy that shot?
P. Diddy? Well, I don't know anything about the guy that shot.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know where we are. God, Have you ever listened to football? Have you listened to any sport on the radio before?
Like, what do you mean the radio?
Like on a radio in a car where there's a AM, FM.
What's up?
Oh shit. You're either really autistic or really abusive. Those are true feelings that you have. You have both of those feelings. Do you admit that or no?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. So then it's not. So then it's not. Yeah, but exactly. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you. We got there.
Destiny, this is actually your fault. All of this is literally your fault.